Mitakiapi, trokahe le ampetuki, chantehe tahan, yushkia nape uchius papelo, le miecha, ikrancho la tipi, ektawahina, mazaskanshkan oapre wanji, Lakota woglakapi na lakho wichochaki hana nupi u iwaglakinkta yellow. Tuecha tukteta nach unakapiki hana wopilatranka iprealo. My relatives, first of all, on this day from my heart, I extend my handshake in a happy way. This is me. I have come to the radio station, and for 1 hour, the Lakota language and culture I will speak on. Those that from wherever you are sitting and listening, I give you my words of thanks. Today is July 7th, I believe, 31st episode of our program, the Lakota Cultural Hour. My name is Dana Dupree, and I'll be with you here today. We're going to review what happened last session. We did some lesson 12, of Hechitu Yalo, The Way It Is. It's a student manual by the Oglala Lakota College, and it was published in January of 1989. And we talked about mazaska, talk about money and some of the terms. And we did some verbal conjugations and also some practice sentences. And then we got into a story, Coyote Dances with the Stars. This is from a publication on myths and legends. Did a little information on the Battle of the Little Bighorn, the events up there in Montana country. And then we finished with the story, The Owl Husband. So that was a recap of the previous session. Now we're going to continue on to the next part of the program, and that is the Serenity Prayer, the prayer that is utilized throughout the area. It says, Trankashila wachwala makuo, daku aglutrokcha oaki hishni, ena omakiayo. Daku aglutrokcha oakihi, ena washake makuo. Na omakiaki lena woksape wagluhakta yellow. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things that I can and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. And the phrase we use is hektakia akupo, keep coming back, keep coming back. Today we are in the month of July, which is a good time. The choke cherries are getting there. If the birds didn't eat them up, the birds, we'll blame the birds. Just want to do a review on what one of the previous sessions talked about. Discussed the concept of Lakota culture. And culture is a way in which way that we present ourselves as people. Some of the things, part of that culture, this came from a presentation many moons ago, and I still have some of the notes from it. So if you look at the cultural presentation, the worldview, circular worldview, there's an input and a process and then an outcome. And so in the Lakota circular world, there is the input, process, and the outcome. Some of the results of that would address the idea of harmony with nature. So we are in harmony or balance with nature, and then it emphasizes group group involvement. You become one with the environment. So you connect to the environment. And it's kind of a mystical process, holistic. I heard that word decades ago. There was a holistic approach to everything. And then there's past, present, future oriented. And then property is shared. It's communal. It means that everybody shared that property. And then intuitive. So again, those are some concepts that through culture is the circular worldview. And then on the other side of that spectrum is the linear. Linear means it goes in a line, whereas the circular view goes in a circle. So there's input, process, and output. Input, output, process. But it's all in one line. And so some of the things that are a result of that is the effort to conquer nature, to control that nature, and dominion to control it further. And then it's a focus on individual emphasis as opposed to communal. Then we separate ourselves from the environment. This morning I was coming to town, and down on a gravel road there was 4 tractors, all headed to the field. The second guy waved, the other 3 were too serious. But the second guy was cool. He was enjoying his day, and he was going to enjoy his time out in the field. Probably going round and round and round and round, or square. Cut. Rake. Bale. But that's a lifestyle they chose, individualized. A lot of skepticism about things. Everything's in sequence here in the linear worldview, so it's in sequential order. We do this, do that. Point A to point B, point C, all the way. And it's based on future orientation. So they're looking into the future and probably looking into the winter when they're going to need to feed their animals. So they're working right now to harvest, to work the fields. And then when they're done, they'll take it back to the house and keep it close to their house so that this winter, if it ever snows, then they'll have the resources. And property is considered private. So, this is mine, get away. And a lot of logics put into that. So that's just a tidbit of culture. Circular as opposed to linear. And which one are you? I'm not sure which one. You probably could be both of them if you want it to be. You can live in 2 worlds. The philosophy of the Lakota is that it is our belief that we as Lakota people have within ourselves the ability to find solutions that will solve our problems. We therefore must be given the opportunity to do so. In the words of the great leader, the Hunkpapa Lakota leader, Sitting Bull, let us put our minds together and see what life we can make for our children. Also from Sitting Bull, if we have lost something, let us not be afraid to go back and search for it. There's some bullet points on culture. Culture is universal. All people have culture and therefore share a common humanity. Culture is organized. There is a coercive and structure amongst the patterns of human behavior. Culture is stable yet changeable. It is dynamic and manifests continuous and constant change. Culture is a term used to describe values, beliefs, behavior, patterns, social systems common to a group of people. Culture provides an individual with sense of identity, sense of belonging, sense of purpose and structure for life. They provide beliefs, values, limits on behavior, social control. Culture is learned. It is transformed from one generation to the next through a variety of ways. Examples given: religious ceremonies, rituals, stories. Culture is the main institution for the teaching of the beliefs and values of the family. When this process is disrupted, the whole group experiences a breakdown. They will begin to lose their symbols and important concepts, causing more disruption to occur. Finally, culture is integrated through every aspect of life of a people. All elements are interwoven. For example, childbearing and spirituality are directly connected. So that is a little tidbit on culture. Just a reminder so that you'll know that there is structure here. And we have also Lakota values. There's virtues. Lakota values, there was 4 of them. One is called generosity. Generosity is something that any real Lakota person has. They learn to provide for their family members and relatives as well as for the needy ones in the community. Therefore, a person is looked up to not only for their ability to provide food, clothing, and shelter, but also for the ability to give generously and not count the cost. It is better to give a lot than not, and to have, or it is better to give a lot than to have a lot and keep it for yourself. To be called stingy is the worst insult. When an important occasion comes along, people honor one another with giveaway or oducha. And so that is a process. During the giveaway, the giver gives as much of what he has to other people. Sometimes everything is given away. Courage. Hitika. So generosity is wachante oganake. Courage is hitika. Taking care of others means that a person needs to have bravery or courage. It means having to face hard and difficult things for the sake of others. Therefore, a person is taught by example and stories how to have great courage. They learn to face danger without running away, and how to face even death with dignity in the old days. In the old days, counting coup was the way of proving you had courage. Today, a person has to have great courage to face bad thoughts and desires inside himself, herself. It takes courage to make changes instead of running away from problems. Any person who does something dangerous to help another is worthy of honor and respect. Value number 3, respect wa'ohula. In order for people to live together in peace, they have to respect one another. The old are respected for their wisdom, and the young because they are the future of our people. This attitude also means a reverence for all other living things in the world. Everything was put on this island, earth, by the Great Spirit. All people and things are relative. Everything is one, the elderly tell us. This reverence is expressed in daily prayers and by the way we act. The outcome of this respect is peace in families, among tribes and other people. Although I die, I continue living in everything that is. Each thing is everything forever. An elderly Indian once said, we are all one. So that is respect. The fourth one is wisdom, woksape. Another word for respect is wowachin tanka, waohula and wowachin tanka. So wisdom, woksape, the wisdom and knowledge of the elderly is very important for the well-being of the people. They know how to give good advice to others because they have seen many things happen and change. This kind of wisdom helps people get along and understand the world around them. This wisdom helps us see that people are more valuable than things or money. The real way to judge a person is to see inside him or her. Wisdom knows that a person is nothing without the power of Tonkashila. Being humble and caring for others is the wisest power of all. Wisdom is like the sun that rises at dawn. We see things the way they are then. This is why traditional people face the dawn each day to pray and ask Tonkashila to make them wise. And this was taken from Lakota Life by Ron Zallinger. And it's from the St. Joseph Indian School, Chamberlain, South Dakota. So thank you very much, Mr. Ron. And that is going to take us to our next phase of our program, and that's the Lakota part of it. It's all Lakota, but more Lakota than the last part. We're going to go to Hechetuelo. It is, the way it is, it's a student manual published by Oglala Lakota College, Kyle, South Dakota, January 1989. And we're going to go to the next lesson. And as I page through this binder, I see a lot of words. So we're on lesson 13. And I apologize in advance if I mispronounce some of the words. I apologize because my eyes have something in there. They're ochle in there, kind of. So I have to clean my eyes out, focus, take my government glasses off. So this is the 13th lesson out of this book. And we shall commence to. This takes about 15 minutes of your time. Foods traditional and contemporary. Food is essential for survival of all people, but to the Lakota, it was of vital importance. All social affairs and celebrations were accompanied by traditional meals. This is still true today, but with contemporary additions, as you shall see. The followings are lists of fruits, vegetables, and kinds of meat and drinks. The underlined words were considered to be traditional staples, and most were used in all important ceremonies. So with that being said, I'd look for underlined words, but there's not any. What's going on? Maybe I'll have to underline them. Fruits, tasma, apple, scopela, banana, or you could say zizi scopela. My uncle once told a story. He said, Toshka hechi washi chamu. He said, I went to work over there. Dukte washi chano. Where did you go work? Banana factory hechi washi chamu. So he said he went to work at him and Ambrose, he said. They both went to work over there. He said, When they came down the line, said his job was to bend the banana to its shape because it was too straight. And then he sent it to his brother Ambrose, and Ambrose would paint it yellow. So that was the story of how my uncles worked in a banana factory. To continue on, Aunyayapi, berry. Mastincha pute, buffalo berry. Champcha, cherry, like a choke cherry. Tramni ochpi is a fig. Wichaganashka is a gooseberry. Chuiyapehe is a grape. Suzizila, muskamelon. They have yellow seeds. Tashma Z is an orange. Tashma Hishma is a peach. Tashma pestala is a pear. Wazi wichaganashka is a pine berry. Khanta or pte trawoyete is a plum. Trakan hechala, raspberry. Aunyayapi is a sandberry. Wibazuk, serviceberry or juneberry. Trakan yechala, strawberry. Wazisketcha is another word for strawberry. Now we're going to jump into the vegetables. Panchi is an artichoke. Umnikcha is a bean. Panchi prapre shasha is a radish or beet. Timsila shasha is another word for it, radish or beet. Wachbe utapi is cabbage. Timsila zizi is a carrot. Wagamiza is corn. Washtunkala is dried corn. Omnichahu is legumes. Turn the page over. And we have Wachbe ikajiji, lettuce. Psi is onion. Shahielo tratimsila. Shahiela tratimsila is parsley. Omnicha gmigmi. Omnicha gmi is a pea. Below is potato. Psi or psi. Onion is psi, and then psi is rice. Ujijitka is tomato. Timsila is turnip. Or timsila skaska is another term for it. We get to the category of meat. Papa. Papa is dried meat. Si is fat parts. Slola, soft fat parts. Tchalo is fresh meat. Wakaprapi, pemmican. Wonder if that's wasna. Oh, I answered my question. Wasna is pounded beef. Washinlo is juicy fat parts. We get to the category of drinks. Mni, water. Pejuta sapa. Wakaliapi is the words for coffee. Asampi is milk. Wachpe is tea. Maniskuya is lemonade. Additional vocabulary that will be used in this lesson. Winuchchala is elderly woman. Wichachchala is elderly man. Koshkalaka is young man. Wikoshkalaka is young woman. Wiya is woman. Wichasha is man. Hoksila is boy. Wichinchala is girl. Eta, some. Wakapra is pounded. Then we jump into the verbal conjugations. First group is lochi. Lochi is to be hungry. And then lo wachi, I am hungry. Lo yachi, you are hungry. Lo chi, base word, he or she is hungry. Lo chimpi, pluralization. Lo chimpi, they are hungry. Lo ya chimpi, you all are hungry. Lo un chimpi, we all are hungry. Chi, to want. Wachi, I want. Yachi, you want. Chi is the base word, he or she wants. Chi. Pluralization, chimpi, they want. Ya chimpi, you all want. Un chimpi, we all want. Next word is ipuza, to be thirsty. Imapuza, I am thirsty. Inipuza, you are thirsty. Ipuza, base word, he or she is thirsty. Ipuzapi, they are thirsty. Iumpuzapi, we are all thirsty. Wota, to eat. Wota. Wawate, I eat. Wayate, you eat. Base word, wote, he or she eats. Wotapi, they eat. Wayatapi, you all eat. Wauntapi, we all eat. Yuta is to eat. Wata, I eat. Yata, you eat. Base word, yute, he or she eats. Utapi, they eat. Yatapi, you all eat. Uyutapi, we all eat. Next word is yatke, to drink. Blatke, I drink. Latke, you drink. Base word, yatke, he or she drinks. Yatkampi, they drink. Latkampi, you all drink. Uyatkampi, we all drink. Wayatke, next word, wayatke, to drink. Wablatke, I drink. Walatke, you drink. Wayatke, base word, he or she drinks. Wayatke. Wayatkampi, they drink. Walatkampi, you all drink. Wa'unyatkampi, we all drink. There's some narrative here I'd like to read. The difference between the transitive and the intransitive verbs in lesson are transitive verbs. Wata and wayatke can be used without a direct object, such as mie ichani wawatking. Mie ichani wawatking. Excuse me. I will soon eat. Nish dohan wayatking taho. Nish dohan wayatking tahe. When will you eat a meal? And the answer is ichani wawantapikte. Wauntapikte. Ichani wauntapikte. Oh, excuse me, I read that wrong. Ihani wauntapik. My mistake. We have already eaten. Hihani wayatahe. Did you eat a morning meal? Hihani wawate. Yeah. Hihani wawate. Hello. Yes, I ate this morning. Or hihani wawateshni. Yeah. Hihani wawateshni. No, I did not eat this morning. The transitive verb wayatka has changed in meaning over the years. At one time before the introduction of alcohol, perhaps this word was non-existent or meant something else. At the present time, when one uses wayatke, one assumes that this means to drink liquor or is drinking liquor without the use of a direct object. This could be offensive to some people, so precaution should be used with this verb. The intransitive verbs yuta and yatke must be used with a direct object. Taku yatkinkta. Taku yatinkta. What are you going to eat? Tchalo watinkte. Yeah. Tchalo watinkte. Yellow. I'm going to eat meat. Naku mini blatkinkte. Yeah. I'm going to drink water. Nish. And you? Last sentence there. Hia. Mie wakalyapi blatkinkta. Yeah. Hia mini. Hia mie wakalyapi blatkinkta. Yellow. No, I'm going to drink coffee. Now we get into exercises. I think there's a series of exercises. Yeah, we should look at. I think there's 13 of them. So it'll ask a question. Loyachi he. Loyachi ho. Are you hungry? Lawachi. Lawachi lo. Yes, I'm hungry. Or hiya. Lawachi shniya. Hia loachisnia lo. No, I'm not hungry. Number 2, taku loyachi he. Taku loyachi ho. What are you hungry for? Khalo lowachi. Khalo lowachi lo. I'm hungry for meat. And somebody else just answered, Sloashni. Taku wachinki Sloashni. I don't know what I want. Number 3, ini puza he. Ini puza ho. Are you thirsty? Ha ima puza, yeah. Ha ima puza, yellow. Yes, I'm thirsty. Hia ima puzeshni, yeah. Hia ima puzeshni, yellow. No, I am not thirsty. Number 4, taku latke yachi ho. Taku latke yachi he. What do you want to drink? Answer, mani blatke wachiya. Mani blatke wachiya lo. I want to drink water. Another example is asampi blatke wachiya. Asampi blatke wachiya lo. I want to drink some milk. Number 5, mani inipuza he. Mani inipuza ho. Are you thirsty for water? Ha mani imapuza ye. Ha mani imapuza. Yellow. Yes, I'm thirsty for water. Ya. Wawata shniya. Yeah. Ya wawata shni. Yellow. No, I'm not thirsty for water. I think that's misplaced. It should say, ya mani imapuzeshni. Yeah. Ya mani imapuzeshni. No, I'm not thirsty for water. Okay, maybe it's misplaced sentence. It might make sense here. Number 6, wayata he. Wayata ho. Have you eaten? Ha wawate ye. Ha wawate ye lo. Yes, I have eaten. Hia wawate shniya. Hia wawate shniya lo. No, I have not eaten. Number 7, wayata yachi he. Wayata yachi ho. Do you want to eat? Ha wawate wachi ye. Ha wawate wachi ye lo. Yes, I want to eat. Hia wawate wachi shniya. Ya wawate wachinshni alo. No, I do not want to eat. Taku yata yachi he. Taku yata yachi ho. What do you want to eat? Thalo wata wachi. Thalo wate wachi alo. I want to eat some meat. Hoksila ki, number 9. Hoksila ki taku yuta chi he. Hoksila ki taku yuta chiho. What does the boy want to eat? Hoksila ki thalo na blo yuta chia. Hoksila ki thalo na blo yuta chia lo. The boy wants to eat meat and potatoes. Hoksila ki taku ni yuta chinshni. Hoksila ki takuni yuta chinshni lo. The boy does not want to eat anything. Number 10, wichinchala ki taku yatkan chinha. Wichinchala ki taku yatkan chinho. What does the girl want to drink? Wichinchala ki asampi eta yatkan chinya. Wichinchala ki asampi eta yatkan chinya lo. The girl wants to drink some milk. Wichinchala ki takuni yatkan chinshniya. Wichinchala ki takuni yatkan chinshniya lo. She does not want to drink anything. Number 11, hoksila ki lo chiha. Hoksila ki lo chiho. Is the boy hungry? Hoksila ki lo chiha. Hoksila ki lo chiha lo. Yes, the boy is hungry. Hia Oxila ki lochin snia. Yeah, oxila ki lochin snia lo. No, the boy is not hungry. Number 12, winuchchala ki ipuzahe. Winuchchala ki ipuzaho. Is the elderly woman thirsty? Answer is, winuchchala ki ipuzaye. Winuchchala ki ipuzaye lo. Yes, the elderly woman is thirsty. Hiya, winuchchala ki ipuzashni. Yeah. Hiya, winuchchala ki ipuzashni lo. No, the elderly woman is not thirsty. Number 13, Dwe lochin hai. Dwe lochin ho. Who is hungry? Khoskala ka ki lochin. Khoskala ka ki lochin. The young man is hungry. Dwe ipuza hai. Dwe ipuza ho. Who is thirsty? We khoskala ka ki ipuzaya. We khoskala ka ki ipuzaya lo. The young woman is thirsty. Oh, Hechetuelo, this is the conclusion of lesson 13. If you feel that you haven't mastered the material, you may stop the tape. Oh, we stopped the tape. And we'll go back, we'll rewind it, go back to the beginning of the lesson and repeat until all mastery of the material is achieved. So we have completed that lesson, and we're going to go into a series of stories to finish out the day. And I'm hoping you have a good day. We're about 47 minutes into the program. And the stories that we have for you, they're probably classified as in Wichoyake. There's 3 forms that I referenced before, and that is the Ohunkaka, and those are long time ago stories that were about evolution, about creation. And then there's the Ihani Wichoyake is the next group of stories where it talks about how things were created and how people came into being, and some spiritual stories. And then the Wichoyake is common day stories about things that happened in our society. And so these are just short stories, and I hope you get some pleasure out of it. And these are, these are all stories that connect with the horse. The first one is called The Singing Coyote. Oh, The Singing Colt. How did I see coyote? The Singing Colt. I think I better take my glasses off. Those scratches are kind of misleading. The camp of the Lakota had moved from the place where they had spent the winter to a new place where the grass was green and plentiful. The women were putting up the teepees and bringing in firewood. The children were helping their mothers, and the men were taking care of the ponies. Wiakaska, who was a horse streamer, was searching for his otter skin quiver. Of all his belongings, the otter skin quiver was the one he prized the most. Whenever he wore it at the big feasts and ceremonies, he was envied by all the other young braves. But somewhere along the trail it had been lost, so he must go back and find it. Now the horse was a guiding friend and spirit of the horse dreamer, and this horse stood nearby, ready at times to give his strength and goodness whenever the horse dreamer, Wiakaska, was in need of help. Wiakaska, being a horse dreamer, never rode a horse, but he always traveled on foot. Wiakaska had arrived at a place about midway between the old camping place and the new camping place. The trail ran close to the banks of a river. He could not see very far ahead, for the trees and the blackberry and wild rose bushes grew thick along the way. Walking along and wondering where he would find his lovely quiver, Wiakaska was surprised to hear a voice singing. It was not a song of gladness, but of sadness. A sobbing voice. I am all alone. I have lost my mother, and the way is hard for me. Wiakaska's heart was touched, so he hastened his steps to help the person in distress. The voice came near, and here in the path coming toward him was a poor little tired pony, his head hanging low in sorrow. It was a pretty little fellow with white spots on his forehead and 2 dainty white forefeet. Wiakaska could not help liking the helpless little colt, and seeing that he was grief-stricken, talked kindly to him. The Lakota some weeks before had captured a band of wild horses. Among them was the mother of Singing Colt. She had been brought in, tied to the neck of a tame horse, with Singing Colt following at her heels. But for some reason, the mare became sick and died, leaving Singing Colt alone. When the camp moved, the colt had tried to follow, but growing tired, stopped by the trail to rest. He had fallen asleep, and when he woke up, the camp was gone. So he was traveling alone, and where he was going, he did not know. Wiakaska prepared to take Singing Coyote back with him to camp, where he would have plenty of food and would grow strong. As they turned to go, there in the path lay his beautiful otter-skin quiver. The journey back to camp was a happy one for both Wiakaska and Singing Coyote. As the friendship between Wiakaska and Singing Coyote grew, so did the colt grow. His long legs became swift, and he held his head very high and proudly. He raced with the other ponies and became swift as the wind. When his mane flew back in the wind, he was a beautiful sight. In time, he became famous as the winner of all races, and Wiakaska loved him for his beauty and pride. So that's the first story of the Singing Colt. Now this one is the second one, the second story, and this is about a war and about a horse. So these are horse stories today. This one is called The Faithful Horse. The Lakota had returned victorious from a war excursion, and the village was preparing a feast and a victory dance for them. Everyone was happy and excited. There was no enemy within many miles, and the territory of the Lakota was free from any who might steal their horses or chase away the buffalo. The women were busy cooking for the feast, and the men were putting on their beautiful feather headdresses. Those who had received wounds in battle painted themselves red to mark the place of injury. There was much display of painted quivers, lances decorated with stripes of otter skin, fans, and banners. Everywhere feathers fluttered in the air. Even the horses which had returned with the men from war were being combed, and sweetgrass wreaths placed about their necks. Their tails were braided and decorated with waving fluffs of eagle feathers. They also were painted red if they had been wounded in battle. Every man was proud and fond of the horse that had been with them during the battle. It seemed as if the horses were aware of the unusual attention that was being given to them, for they danced and pranced to the sound of the drum and the songs of the warrior. The girls were pretty in soft deerskin dresses and in moccasins and leggings as white as snow. Their long, black, shiny braids were tied with ornaments made from dyed porcupine quills strung on dyed deerskin strings. At the end of these hair strings, there was tassels of bright-colored feathers. Some of them wore the headdress and robes of the warriors and danced and sang for the brave ones. In all this gladness, one young man was sad. While other young men rode about proudly on their war horses, this young man was thinking of his own horse, which he had left dying on the battlefield. The fight had been a heavy one. His horse had fallen under him, and this young warrior had been left afoot in a dangerous position, but a friend had rescued him. His friend's pony had carried them both home to safety, so the young brave's mind was on the faithful companion that he had last seen lying on the battlefield. Praises would be sang for his faithful horse, but for all that he could not help feeling sad. The feasting and dancing lasted for several days or until all the warriors had been praised. Then one by one the visiting bands had packed their teepees and gone back to their villages. Once again all was quiet and the warriors were feeling proud of the honors that had been given them. Evening was coming and everyone was peacefully enjoying the close of a pleasant day. All at once, coming slowly towards the village, was seen the gaunt figure of a horse. He walked slowly but steadily. His head drooped, but he walked straight through the village. Everyone watched, but no one spoke. Across the circle of teepees, the pony walked until he reached the one farthest from the side of the circle where he had entered. There he stopped. The astonishment of the young warrior standing by the teepee door turned to gladness, for this thin, tired pony was the one he had been mourning for, who he thought had died on the battlefield. The young warrior stroked the beautiful animal's head, patted his back, and touched gently the terrible wound that still gaped red on his side. As friends gathered about, the wonderful story was again told of the battle and the return of the faithful horse. So that's the story of the faithful horse. This one is last in a series of 3. It's called The Holy Dog. In olden days, the Sioux did not have horses. They had never even heard of one. Their travois were dragged by large dogs, and when the camp moved, these big dogs served as pack animals, carrying teepees and household goods and dragging the travois. Dogs were indispensable to the Lakota, and they had great numbers of them. The Lakota dogs were big, shaggy fellows, strong and intelligent. They had lived with the Lakota in this country and had been his companion for a long, long time. In those days, the Lakotas lived peacefully with all animals. Even the buffalo would often wander into the camp of the Lakota and eat the grass that grew within the circle of the village. They would usually come during the night, and when the Lakota awoke in the morning, there would be buffalo feeding on the green grass. When the smoke began to rise from the teepees, the people began to stir about. The buffalo would move away. It was as if the great mystery sent the buffalo, so that if meat was needed, it would be there at hand. In fact, many times, if there was need for meat, a buffalo would be had for the morning meal. Those were the days of plenty for the Lakota. One morning, the Lakota came out of their teepees, and there were the buffalo close by, feeding as usual. Soon they moved away, but still feeding around was a strange-looking object such as had never been seen before. It seemed very gentle and not heeding the people who stared at it curiously. No one ventured near at first, for the animal was too strange. No one knew its habits, They did not know whether it would bite or kick or run. Everyone stared, but still the animal fed on, scarcely lifting its head to look at those who began to walk closer for a better view. The head of this strange animal was not shaggy like that of a buffalo. Its eyes were large and soft-looking, like those of the deer, and its legs were slender and graceful. A mane flowed from its neck, and its tail reached nearly to the ground. The beauty of this strange animal was greatly praised by first one, then by another. Then some hunter got a rawhide rope. Maybe this animal would permit being tied, for it seemed so gentle. The rope was thrown, but the animal escaped, for it raised its head on its long, slender neck and raced around a short distance, not in fright or in anger, but as if annoyed. How handsome this animal was when it ran. It did not resemble the buffalo, nor deer, nor wolf, but was more beautiful than any of these. The rope was thrown again and again, and at last it was on the neck of the animal. It seemed only more kind and gentle, and stood tamely, while some dared to stroke it gently. Now and then it nibbled at the grass as if aware it was among friends. Admiration for the lovely animal grew. All wanted to stroke its neck and forehead, and the creature seemed at once to enjoy this extra attention. Finally, a warrior grew brave enough to mount upon its back. Then all laughed and shouted with joy. What a wonderful creature! It must have come straight from the great mystery. The people did not know that in later years, this animal was to come to them in great numbers, and it was to become as great a friend to them as the dog. Both the hunter and the warriors came in time to think of it as an inseparable companion in peace and in war, for it faithfully shared the work of the longtime friend of the Sioux, the dog. The Lakota. Okay, the Lakota loved their dogs, their daily companions in camp or on the trail, and liking the strange, lovely animal so well, they could think of no better name to call it than the holy dog. So to this day, the horse to the Lakota is Shunkawakan, holy dog. So that's the end of this story, and we are at the end of our program. I would want to say thank you for tuning in. Toksha ke lechiwa una. Wana meglustancha mitakia pe akele wopila tranke bkhalo to hana namach kena. Wana tiata wagnina asniwa kingtena ke oko wanshi hachi trokate ke let ke uke lechiwa hina ke wagla kita cha petu washe apu aha mitakuye uyasi.